Harassed by Carrington. Finds Boston. Clark gets hit in the face by Carrington and is down. Caitlin Clark is down. No call as Connecticut takes advantage. And Clark is still down after taking a shot.
Yes, you saw that right. Caitlin Clark took a brutal hit during her WNBA playoff debut, and I honestly can't believe the refs didn't call a foul. What should have been a defining moment for the Indiana Fever rookie quickly turned into controversy when DiJonai Carrington's long nails struck her face, leaving Clark bruised and shaken. And trust me, you do not want those nails anywhere near your eye. Let's take a closer look at the incident.
With no whistle.
Now, I'm not saying it was 100% intentional, but it definitely didn't look accidental either. This all went down just minutes into Game 1, and fans are furious. Social media exploded with photos of Clark's swollen eye, questioning how something so obvious went uncalled. Some are even speculating it might have been intentional.
Yeah. She did this 1,000% on purpose. That's not a natural motion. This is just like the Angel Reese. All you're going to hear tomorrow is basketball play.
What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stick around, because we're breaking down everything from fan reactions to whether the WNBA needs to take action. Let's dive in. It didn't take long for the impact of that hit to show. Clark, known for her sharp shooting and court vision, struggled for the rest of the game. Usually lethal from beyond the arc, she missed her first 8 three-pointers, finishing the night with just 11 points on 4 for 17 shooting, well below her usual numbers. And if I'm being honest, it was tough to watch her force plays that she normally executes flawlessly. The passes weren't crisp, and the shots, they just wouldn't fall. I can't help but wonder if that eye injury really threw her off her game. I mean, imagine trying to shoot with blurred vision or a throbbing eye. And yet, despite all of this, Caitlin didn't make excuses. That's why people love Clark. She's tough, but even the toughest have their limits.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half that you usually make. So that's tough, but I felt like I battled and tried my best.
If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, you've probably already seen the heated discussions blowing up on social media. From Instagram stories to Twitter threads, WNBA fans were quick to criticize the referees for not calling a foul. It's rare to see such a unified reaction, but in this case, the outrage was overwhelming. Fans weren't just upset about the hit, they were furious that this level of physicality was allowed in a playoff game without any consequence. What makes this situation even more troubling is that this isn't the first time DiJonai Carrington has been involved in controversial behavior. While this incident was physical, Carrington has faced criticism before for unacceptable conduct on the court.
First ever game of the WNBA, forcing 10 turnovers. Right there you see DiJonai Carrington.
It's one thing to play with intensity, but repeated behavior like this, whether physical or behavioral, needs to be addressed. The WNBA cannot allow this pattern to continue without repercussions. The bigger question now is whether the WNBA will take action. Should Carrington face a suspension for the hit? Or will this incident be brushed off as just part of the game? Some analysts are already comparing this to past incidents where the league has been forced to make a statement. My guess? We'll likely see a fine or maybe a public warning, but that won't satisfy the fans who believe Clark deserves better protection on the court. Before we dive deeper into this wild situation, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so if you enjoy these deep dives into the WNBA's most controversial moments, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. This game was supposed to be a showcase of Clark's abilities on the biggest stage. After being named the WNBA Rookie of the Year, Clark entered the playoffs averaging an incredible 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. But what happened on the court didn't reflect her usual dominance. Whether it was the hit to her face or the suffocating defense from Connecticut's DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, Clark never found her rhythm.
I think, they were going to make adjustments. They were going to change up their schemes. They were going to change the matchups. We had talked about getting back the matchups that we wanted, that we thought would be helpful for us. I agree with what Caitlin just said. We scored 69 points, and when we go back and watch this, I didn't really say much because I want to go back and watch and just kind of see. But I think we just, these guys are going to shoot the ball a lot better on Wednesday, and that's going to make a huge difference. And, the first 3 quarters we battled. I think we got rattled in the third a little bit when they started they hit some shots. But then we kept making shots, and then we really, that fourth quarter, we stopped scoring. And then they had some late buckets, after the game was out of reach. But some things that, some highlights, they had 6 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. And I think we gave up 2 the rest of the game. We just got to find those positives. We had 23 assists on 27 baskets. And I'm pretty sure, like Caitlin said, when we go back and look, there was some wide open shots that would have given us even more assists right there. So, whatever matchup they come with, I still think we had some good looks. We just have to do a better job of that 50 points.
And speaking of Bonner, let's give credit where it's due. The 37-year-old veteran made it difficult for Clark to find any open looks, using her size and length to stifle Indiana's offensive leader. Bonner, who has 81 playoff games under her belt, has seen it all before, and her experience showed in how she handled Clark. That's not to say Clark won't bounce back. After all, she's the kind of competitor who learns from every game, every setback. But in this one, it was clear that the Sun had her number. Game 2 is just around the corner, and all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark. Will she come back stronger, or will the physical toll from the hit linger into the next game? If Clark isn't at 100%, the Fever will have to come up with a new plan. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston will need to step up if Indiana hopes to force a Game 3. One thing's for sure, the Sun aren't going to make it easy. With Marina Mabrey lighting it up with 27 points off the bench and Alyssa Thomas dropping yet another triple-double, Connecticut has no intention of giving Clark and the Fever any breathing room. They've been to the finals before, and they're hungry for another shot at the title. The stakes are high, and the next game could determine much more than just the outcome of this series. It could set the tone for Clark's future in the league, not to mention the WNBA's approach to officiating in playoff games. If Carrington's hit is allowed to slide, will the league see more of this physicality in the coming years? And if Clark isn't fully protected, what message does that send to the rest of the league's rising stars? The truth is, Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a once-in-a-generation talent who has single-handedly brought more eyes to the WNBA than anyone in recent memory. The league has a golden opportunity to capitalize on her star power, but incidents like this raise questions about how much they're willing to do to protect their biggest draw. As we look ahead to Game 2, I can't help but feel that the future of the WNBA is at a crossroads. Will it continue to promote a style of play that protects its stars? Or will it allow the physicality of the game to overshadow the brilliance of players like Clark? Only time will tell. But if I'm being honest, I'm rooting for Caitlin to come back with a vengeance. And you should be too. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay on top of everything happening in the WNBA, especially in this dramatic playoff series, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world as we continue to bring you the latest news and analysis from the world of women's basketball. See you in the next video.